Last night saw the first major elections of the Trump era, and Democrats won big, trouncing Republicans in New Jersey and Virginia. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. That's right, Democrats had major victories in the governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia last night, which means it's cool to be a Democrat again. Right, New Jersey? Isn't that right, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy? Oh my God. Democrats are such nerds. He looks like he just won a chess meet. But hey, at least New Jersey finally has a governor who can catch air. But Democrats can be forgiven a little awkward enthusiasm because they'd spent the last 2 weeks absolutely freaking out over the governor's race in Virginia, where it seemed like Republican Ed Gillespie was gaining ground on Democrat Ralph Northam by running a Trump-inspired race-baiting campaign. Pundits the day before the race were already gloomy, like this panel on Morning Joe, during which Mika Brzezinski could not contain her panic.
We're going to go around the table now.
Oh, no.
Elections tomorrow. Let me just start with this question.
I don't know.
Does anybody here think that the Democrats are going to win the governorship in Virginia tomorrow?
I don't know.
Does anybody think
and I'm alarmed that this is
No?
a question.
What about you?
Going to win.
I don't think so. I think it's
And is
Gillespie.
it the Donna Brazile stuff? What is turning people at the last second?
Do you think Ed Gillespie or Northam wins?
It doesn't look like Northam wins.
Oh, my God.
You gotta love how Mika sounds in that clip, like she just heard some dirty gossip about a friend while holding a glass of Pinot Grigio. Oh my God! With the pool boy? So even before the results came in last night, Democrats were certain they didn't have a chance, which of course is how you know they actually had a chance. They won, but at least the Democrats were wrong again. In fact, Democrats romped to victory in several states, first in New Jersey, where Murphy, the Democrat, overwhelmingly won the race to replace GOP Governor Chris Christie. Christie is so unpopular in New Jersey that on Election Day, he found himself bickering with a voter on the street over a local issue, merging a township and a borough after he cast his ballot.
Anything else? Sure, ma'am. Why not?
Well, I live in London Township.
Yeah,
My
why not?
question to you is, why didn't you merge the borough and the township?
Because I can't.
In 8 years.
Yeah, well, as governor, I can't.
So why didn't you?
I can't.
Well, then vote.
I understand. You're so frustrated. You know what? The easiest thing in the world, is to stand where you stand and stand on the sidelines and critique. Run for the township committee, amend township, and be the voice to do it. No, I know, because that's too hard. It's easier. It's easier to sit here. It's easier to sit here and complain. It's easier.
And I don't
to
have
sit,
the money like you.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So you
I'm sure. Easier to sit here and complain. But you know what? That's the joy of public service. It's serving folks like you that is really such a unique joy.
Man, it's nice that success hasn't changed Chris Christie. You know, the best thing about Christie living in New Jersey is knowing he'll never be able to go anywhere in public again without someone giving him Hey! Hey, Governor, I got a bridge right here. Let me raise it for you. There you go. There's another one over there. There you go. You can cross from New Jersey right over to go yourself. There you go. And that wasn't the only big result in New Jersey. There was also the case of a local Republican official named John Carmen who mocked the Women's March in January with a Facebook meme that said, "Will the women's protest be over in time for them to cook dinner?" And that inspired first-time candidate Ashley Bennett to run against Carmen, and last night, Bennett won. So now John Carmen will be home in time to make dinner. Though he doesn't look like he'd nail it. Good news, honey, I made fire bread. Democrats also had big wins in Philadelphia, where a civil rights lawyer who defended Black Lives Matter activists just became district attorney, and in Maine, where voters overwhelmingly approved a ballot measure to expand Medicaid over the objections of their GOP governor, Paul LePage. LePage vetoed the Medicaid expansion 5 times and supported President Trump's attempts to repeal Obamacare. In fact, LePage made his name by telling voters he would fight Obama's agenda tooth and nail.
As your governor, you're going to be seeing a lot of me on the front page singing, "Governor LePage tells Obama to go to hell."
Well, last night, Maine voters told LePage, "You first." And let's not forget New York City. where the result, a win for Democratic Mayor Bill de Blasio, was essentially guaranteed. But there was an especially fun wrinkle in the fate of former Fox News pundit and Trump supporter Bo Dietl, who ran against de Blasio and has a history of making racist comments. Dietl got crushed last night, which might have had something to do with his closing message, a bizarre video of him dancing on the subway.
No curses in my verses, didn't have time to rehearse it. We just came to uplift your vibe and scratch the surface. Go ahead, Mo. Tell them what you know. All I know, I love the street music. When I become mayor, there'll be more street music.
Man, you gotta love New Yorkers. They know the first rule of an asshole on a subway is ignore him and hope he goes away. And with Bo Dietl, it worked. Hey, I'm running for mayor. You guys want to watch my dance? And Dietl has not been handling his loss very well. This morning, he took to Twitter to attack the chairman of a third party that refused to endorse him, tweeting, "Good morning, Frank Morano. I lost last night, but I'm still a multimillionaire. You're still a fat loser in the Loser Reform Party. And you know you're the real loser when you can't even spell the word loser." But by far the biggest rout was in Virginia, and even aside from the governor's race, Democrats had a huge night there. For example, a transgender woman named Danica Rome was elected to the Virginia State House, becoming the first transgender lawmaker in the country. And not only that, she beat a Republican incumbent, Bob Marshall, who sponsored a transgender bathroom bill and once referred to himself as Virginia's chief homophobe. He also refused to debate Rome and referred to her with male pronouns. The best part of Rome's victory was her response when she was asked if she had anything to say about Marshall after she beat him. Rome said, "I don't attack my constituents. Bob is my constituent now." Damn. Damn. She threw so much shade, his face turned even whiter. Virginia's also elected the state's first two Latina lawmakers, and in a truly shocking result, a Marine veteran who calls himself a Democratic socialist upset one of the most powerful Republicans in the Virginia House of Delegates. Republicans got beat so bad in Virginia, last night even the statue of Robert E. Lee was chased out of town. By apparently a very slow mob. And that's what's especially interesting about last night's results in Virginia, because Gillespie very much ran a Trump-inspired campaign that openly embraced Trump's racial grievance politics. He aired ads connecting Northam to the MS-13 gang in sanctuary cities, sent out mailers attacking kneeling NFL athletes, and made keeping up Virginia's Confederate statues a centerpiece of his campaign, with ads like this one.
For governor, there's a clear choice. Ralph Northam wants to take down Virginia's Civil War monuments.
I will do everything that I can to remove the statues at the state level,
Ralph Northam will take our statues down. Ed Gillespie will preserve them.
I'm for keeping them up, and he's for taking them down. And that's a big difference in November.
November of 1866? Trump, of course, enthusiastically embraced Gillespie's race-baiting campaign, tweeting that Northam is fighting for the violent MS-13 killer gangs in sanctuary cities, and that Gillespie might even save our great statue's heritage. Well, you'll never guess how Trump feels about Gillespie now that he's lost. Last night he tweeted, "Ed Gillespie worked hard, but did not embrace me or what I stand for." Don't worry, Ed. Trump's only upset because the election is still fresh. The good news is, in Virginia, when you lose, 150 years later, you get a statue. Of course, this is just one election night, and there's still a long way to go, but last night's results were promising for a Democratic Party in desperate need of something to give them hope. And if there's one thing Democrats are good at, it's celebrating victories. Scratch that. This has been A Closer Look.